Welcome to Livingston, our podcast where we invite local businesses, people, and organizations to talk about what they are giving to our community.
As real estate professionals with the Putkela Group, we bring valuable insight into the local market and community every week.
Thanks for listening, and welcome to Livingston. Hello, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Welcome to Livingston podcast, where we invite local businesses on to talk about what they're doing in the community. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela, and we're with the Putkela Group Real Estate Professionals. And this podcast has been brought to you by Jim Paquette at Lake Michigan Credit Union.
Yes, and we are extremely excited about today's episode.
Yes, I'm excited. This is neat. This is a great organization that's been here a while, and we've patronized them many times.
Yes, so with us today, we have Spirit of Livingston. So we have Carol and Danny in here to talk with us about it, the owners of it. We are just super excited to have you today.
Well, we're very happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Great,
Yeah.
you bet. So tell us, what is Spirit of Livingston? What is your shop, and what do you do?
Spirit of Livingston, we started Spirit of Livingston in 2000. We do screen printing, we do embroidery, we do varsity jackets, we do awards and trophies, we do banners, we do business cards, letterhead, envelopes, NCR forms. We started with our business in 1987 in Heartland, as the name of our business was KizCam, which is our last name spelled backwards. So I had that before Oprah had that. But anyways, and we started with, I worked at the public library in Heartland, and I worked there in high school, and then we started the business. He was working at General Motors. We've been married for 48 years this summer.
Oh, congratulations.
Wow.
So we started the business. My mom gave us a kit for Christmas in 1979 or 78, actually, that was how to make T-shirts for fun and profit. And we bought it at the Silver Lead Paint Store. If anybody's a Livingston County person that knows about the Silver Lead Paint Store that was here many years ago, she bought it there, and we started making T-shirts on our kitchen table. He was working at General Motors. I was working at the Cromain Library in Heartland. And we decided that we could maybe do this. And at that time, General Motors was starting to have some issues in laying off people, so he took a buyout from General Motors. And he worked there for 3 years, so it wasn't much of a buyout, but we just opened our doors in Heartland and under KizCam. And then we had the people in Heartland coming to us and saying, hey, can you do letter jackets, varsity jackets? And we said, well, we don't do them yet, but we could do that. And one of the employees at that time's father had a business up north that she had worked on varsity jackets with. So that was how we started that in 2000. We decided that we were in the village of Heartland, down in the old lumber yard. We didn't even have our own restroom.
Oh, my goodness.
So
Wow.
we had to go to the building next door to use the restroom, and it was nice in the summer, but it was not very nice in the winter. Well, then we realized that if we were going to do varsity jackets, we wanted to hit the whole county. So KizCam worked. We had a little building across the parking lot, which didn't have a bathroom in it either. But these were all old lumberyard buildings, and it was. We put it in there for about a couple months, and we decided that if we wanted to make this work, we needed to be more central in the county. So we looked, and we named it Spirit of Livingston because it was the spirit store for all the schools is kind of how we came up with the name.
Makes sense. 'Cause the shirts and the varsity jackets, all of it.
Yep. So we rented a little in the Whistle Stop Plaza at Golf Club Road and Grand River is where we started. We had the big showroom spot in the front, and we started doing jackets. And I bet the first year we might have done 50 jackets maybe in the whole
50.
year. Got up to where we're doing an average of about 300 jackets now.
Wow.
For 5 different school
For
districts.
5 different schools. We mostly do Howell and Heartland because I went to Heartland, he went to Howell, our kids went to Howell schools. So, we have connects there, and the business was in Heartland, and then the business was in Howell, but we do get quite a few Brighton and Fowlerville, Byron, East Lansing. We get them coming from all over.
A couple of Catholic schools.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh,
Cheryl
great.
Stockwell Academy, we do all of their jackets. And the varsity jackets is really fun for us. We have twins that are 44 years old, graduated from Howell in 2000. I was very involved with the schools when my kids were in school. In fact, they kind of wanted to put me on the payroll, sort of, because they just knew my son would say, my mom can do it because she doesn't have a real job. So
golly.
we were always there at the schools.
Kids are
So it was always a very good connect with the school districts.
That's how we had learned about you guys, because our older sons had gone to Howell High School, and when the time came for them to get their varsity jackets.
Well, we actually
place, right?
used them way before that.
You're right.
Yeah, no, when
Holy cow.
when our kids were in elementary, you guys did our Pinewood Derby trophies.
Oh,
That's
So
right.
that's how we learned about them to begin with.
Because you guys do so much. It's really remarkable.
Well,
So
we
yeah,
try to do it in-house, so there's no
the middleman, right?
middleman. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you
Get our
guys.
own quality.
Yeah, no, you guys do great. I mean, I remember just the trophies and the kids just loving to get the little trophies for Pinewood Derby.
Well, that's the part about the jackets that I like so much, is still being connected with the kids. Because like I said, I was so involved with my kids in school, and then it just stops when they get out of high school, and it's like you miss
true.
that. But these kids come in, I always ask them, what did you letter in? And if they're in the band, both my kids were in band, so we talk about the instruments, and it's just it's a good connect with the community. And most of the kids that come in are just
Good
wonderful,
kids, right?
nice kids.
Well, families are good together.
Yeah, they make it a family affair. They sometimes grandma and grandpa, a lot of times they're paying for it.
Yeah.
But they'll come with mom and dad to get the jacket, and brothers and sisters are all there with them because it's so important to these kids to get this. And we try to really make it a good experience for them, as far as letting them choose what they want, giving them all the options that we have, and then telling them that this is going to be your memory of your school years. And so the jacket's very important to these students.
And it's the first time I think they signed something that says,
Yeah.
is everything right on here?
Yeah.
This is your signature saying, if it isn't, it's your fault.
Yeah,
Right.
So-
that's a good point.
A lot of the kids will look right at their parents and hand them the pen, and most parents will say, "No, you sign it." So
Yeah.
it's a
That's
good
good.
one. Yeah.
It is fun to see.
That is good. I mean, I'm sure they just get so excited.
Oh.
You know, it's
Formative years.
When
you
they
know?
come in and try them on, they're happy. But when they see the coat coming out of the back room with their name on it, and they just light right up. And it is. Some of them, it's 90 degrees in the summer when they pick their coat up, and they'll wear it out of the store because they're so happy to have it on. And I always tell them, now remember, most of the coats have their last name on the back of that coat. Don't do anything wrong in that coat.
That's a good point.
You'll be running away, and they'll know who you are.
Yeah. That's a great point. So, but it was funny because over in Brighton, there's a different place that tends to do some of those. And so it was our daughter who goes to Brighton. And I couldn't get over that they were saying it was going to take 8 to 10 weeks to get a jacket. And I said, well, wait a minute. We're not doing any orders here. Let's come on over here.
We do stuff in-house, and so that makes a big difference
And we
with
do.
quality and speed.
Yeah.
Our supplier is out of New York too, although they're shut down today from
Okay,
the storm.
yeah, big storm.
But it doesn't have to come from out of the country.
A world away.
So that makes a big difference. We're supposed to get our coats within 3 weeks. They've been more closer to 4 this year. But we're very happy with our supplier.
And we're
it's-
using Game. They're out of New York, and they're American.
Yeah.
Right.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Because with our daughter, we put the order in, and 4 weeks to the day,
It came
she
in.
had her jacket. Well, not only did it
Oh, it
come
was
in,
done and
you were
everything.
done,
Yeah.
yes, because you were really on
that's
top of
good.
things,
Yeah.
taking care of
But
it.
again, she was so excited to have it and to be able to wear it.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, that's the thing. Is again, the varsity jackets are probably our most rewarding thing that we do. But we do a lot of work with a lot of the nonprofits in the community too. We do a lot of work for La Casa. We do a lot of work for the Howell Historical Society and the Heartland Historical Society, because I used to be a member when we were in Heartland, but in Howell now, I mean, they're just such a small group of about 5 or 6 people who run this and try to keep this museum and stuff open for the community. And so I print their newsletter for them. We do a lot of things, either very reduced cost or for free, just to keep those groups going. And when you work
need
with
help.
those people like that, they're so unselfish people to give so much to the community that it's the least we can do is try to do that. We work a lot with American Legions. They're always having raffle tickets to raise money, and we try to print those as low as we can. And so we do a
That's
lot.
great, because that makes a big difference in the county. These are great organizations.
It
and
is. It is.
What a way to help them and support them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I was going to mention, because we were on the site and we saw that you had the little stores, all of these different organizations, the Pickney Players and that. So when their kids are in the plays or they're doing things, they jump onto your site and they go and they can get, items with the logo.
Right. Yep. We have online stores for several groups and organizations. You can start one as an artist. If you wanted to sell your T-shirt designs, you could open an online store. We have them set up to where some of the groups, it's just a pass-through thing to where we're charging them $10 for the T-shirt. It's $10 on the store. We get the money up front when the person orders it, and then we deliver the shirts. Some of the groups and organizations put profit on their shirts so that it's a fundraiser, and then at the end of the time period, we can cut them back a rebate check. So most of the players don't, but a lot of the teams, that's how they, instead of having the kids out selling candy bars, they put $5 or $10 on their jersey that every student has to buy. And then, it comes down off the parents are paying for it, but at least the kids aren't out there trying to sell that stuff and having fundraisers that way.
That's true.
Getting something nice that they're going to actually use and wear and have.
Yeah, speaking as a kid that did the door-to-door candy bar sales for baseball and other things, I can see that there's a benefit to doing it that way nowadays.
Yeah. And the other thing is that the pay is all up front, which is good for our cash flow. Once a store opens, I can tell because deposits are being made, and there's not one parent who's having to collect the money for the track team.
Oh my
When
gosh.
Jimmy and Bobby and
Right.
whatever orders a shirt and then doesn't have the money when it comes in, and you've got to pay the shirt printer.
Yeah.
And so it really
taking a lot
is
of
good.
pressure off of
It's
that
taking
person.
pressure off. I know it when my kids were in band. I think there were problems with the money and stuff in the accounts, and I think the band account got frozen at the schools because people weren't doing the right thing. So this takes all of that out of the picture.
That's
And you
wonderful.
don't have
to
one
do.
volunteer trying to do it all on their shoulders.
Right.
Right.
It can be a group organization kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds like a win-win for everybody.
It's a turnkey.
Yeah, we've got a couple big corporations that do that. Well, and Let's is one. Let's gives their drivers, their employees, a certain amount of money every season for clothing with Let's on it. So we have a Let's store that those people can go. They can get credits from Let's, and then they go spend it in the store, and then that works out for us. It's great. And it works out for the people because they're not putting any money out. And if they want to buy more than what their allotment is, then they just put their credit card in and they buy more. So
if somebody wanted to buy all T-shirts or somebody wanted to buy all hoodies, they could do that, and then just get forced to wear something that.
I like that.
So the online stores it's the way of the future. People shopping in their nightgown at midnight.
People are always shopping online.
Yep, they got to go on. They oh man, I got to get Jimmy his track shirt by Wednesday, and so they
get
go
some
on and
money
place the
up.
order. Yeah.
We used to do NCR forms, pass them out.
Yep,
find
collect them all,
Find
add
the
them
people
all
that can
up.
do it.
Yeah. Sounds great. Man, we should get some merch for
Well, there you
podcast.
go.
My ideas are going.
There you go.
Yep.
That is so cool. And we noticed on there you have custom embroidery, so you're able to do something that makes sense with the jackets and so forth. but-
Anything custom can be down to one piece. So you're not stuck with buying something like 12 pieces or 24 pieces.
Oh, wow.
With the embroidery also, you can bring your own items in. So
Right,
if you
there
wanna
aren't
go buy
many
something-
places that allow
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah. So if you want to go get a Carhartt, bring it in and get it embroidered or something at the outlet mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you guys are real close to the LM.
Yeah, the uniform store sends people over once the people buy scrubs and stuff and they want embroidery on them. So we kind of have a good connection with them. And then, I'll tell the people if they'll come in, I'll say, hey, if you go over to the Nike store or whatever and you find something, bring it back and we'll put your logo on it. And you save money and I still get the
Yeah.
logo money. So
Well, that's really good.
it is. It's very unusual but we do have a little sticker that says that we're not responsible because every so often something will happen where a needle will break and put a hole in something or whatever. And if you've bought a $50 jacket and we put a hole in it, we're sad about that and we'll try to make it right, but we can't replace your $50 jacket.
Yeah.
So.
Right, got you. That makes
That
sense.
makes sense.
And we tell everybody about that up front.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of the items that we're getting in are T-shirts, sweatshirts. Somebody's finding a deal on them, and they actually can be cheaper than what we can buy them for in some aspects. Just somebody getting rid of their inventory or they don't want it anymore.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea because I remember some time back we had a family vacation that we were hunting around and found some real cheap T-shirts and had them them done, and now
Yeah,
it's nice
we-
to know that you guys.
Yeah,
are
we
able
do
to
a
that.
lot of that with cruises and family cruises and Christmas shirts or whatever.
Yeah,
So.
Right.
that's kind of a thing. Like
Yeah.
I've noticed when you go on a big group vacation
Yep,
like that.
yep.
it's-
So we really want them to buy them from you because you're making a little bit of profit on them, but this is not the world we live in.
Yeah.
And so when you get an order in and somebody's saying, hey, can you do my kid's shirt? And I got them here, you can't say no.
Right.
It just works that today everything is more on demand
Yeah.
and more people's choice
Right.
and smaller amounts. And so we have to work with that. And if we don't, then we're going to be out of the loop.
Right.
Yeah.
And Amazon really kind of dictates what we do. You know, they're eating our butts for lunch. And if you're not doing it fast, you're not doing it on time, and you're not doing it good, it's going to show, and you're not going to get that. And you only get sometimes one chance
Right.
especially with a brand new customer. Older customers, you know, everything, sometimes it doesn't work out. But if you make it right and the customer agrees, everything is good, and that customer comes back.
Because it's about service.
It is.
We were talking about
It
that
truly is.
before we began.
But in today's world, sometimes people don't look at it that way, and there's no gray, there's no negotiating, and so you're forced to do the job again.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that if it really kind of comes down to that.
Yeah.
Right.
But we try not to get into that spot.
Right.
And so when people come in, we try to give them the rules straight up 2 or 3 times.
Right.
you
Well,
go.
well, I love that you guys are local and that you can come into the store because, you know, not only are you going up against the Amazon, but it's the Etsy, right? So they're going on and they're looking at a picture of something and they're like, oh, I can get this trophy or this embroidery. And you don't know that what's coming is what is in the picture. And then,
It's so nice to be able to walk in and feel the stuff and see the stuff. Like you guys have a wonderful showroom.
See, we're old school.
Yeah.
that's right.
I think that's it. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
There's
But we do
absolutely
have
nothing
a
wrong with
lot of times people who buy off of Amazon or Etsy come in, and we just had one of the local equestrian teams bought this 2 or 3 things and brought them in and said, this is what I ordered, but this is what I got. Can you help me? And we try to help people out and fix them, but like
Trophies are a big one.
trophies a big one. They'll come in and say, can you beat this price? And I'll say no, and then they order online, and then they'll come and say, hey, these 3 plates came in wrong. Can you fix them for me?
Oh my
So we fix them for them, but it's
Right.
like, you know, when you're ordering online, you do better be careful with what you're getting and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Right.
yeah, it's very true. But
Pictures are not always the exact fact. Sometimes they can be this small in the picture.
Right. Yeah.
And to talk to a human being,
Right.
and say, you know, because even with her jacket, the interesting part is Brighton had some things with the cheer megaphone that were a little different, and Carol was outstanding. She was able to custom create so it looked exactly like it's supposed to, and it just was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's our business, to try to make it, you know, how it is and how
Yeah.
you want it.
right.
Yeah, but the attention
To
to
make
detail.
it look right. Yeah.
Right.
No registered trademark, though.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
we don't do any copyrighted
Liability
trademark.
makes
And we have so many people coming in and want, you know, a Harley Davidson or a Michigan this or a Sparty this, and we just tell them we just have never done that and we won't do it. So
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very. I mean, I can remember where this was probably 25 years ago. There were secret shoppers going around and trying from photographers because the photographer union was so upset when digital stuff first came out so
With the
big.
photos.
They
On
even
the back of
stopped
the picture.
VGs. Yeah, if the back of that paper says professional photographer, you can't use it. And
You
even
can't copy
VGs,
Wow.
yeah, VGs they couldn't put the picture on the kid's graduation cake because it had that on the back.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And we were told by, I don't remember if it was in the trade magazines or what, but if people come in with professional pictures, turn it over and send them away, no matter
It's got the markings.
if it's got any of that on there, because you can get in big time
that
trouble.
liability.
Right. Copyright. Yeah.
Copyright infringement, yeah.
Oh.
Disney, Harley, and U of M are 3 of the big dogs that you for sure don't want to mess with. So.
Right.
And I just read something recently. If you do register trademark stuff, they will send you a bill for $10,000. And that $10,000 is what it's going to take you to go get a lawyer for that situation, to get out of registered trademark situation for
Wow.
that type of lawyer. So they're saying you pay the bill or go get a lawyer because we're suing you. And
Right.
it's more likely to pay that bill.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, there's lots of things like that.
Understandable. I was going to ask, because I was on the site, what is Die Sublimation?
Die sublimation is a form of printing that the ink, which is water-based, goes onto paper, which dries. But when it gets put underneath the heat at 400 degrees for about a minute, the dried ink turns into a gas. It doesn't turn into a liquid, and that is sublimation. And so that gas embeds into anything synthetic that it's against, which is a piece of polyester or a polyester ceramic coated cup. And that gas will embed into it, and then when it gets cool, it will lock, and it will be color fast. It will never lose its color. So if you do a Die Sub shirt in polyester, you can wash it 100 times and it won't break a fade.
Wow.
Wow.
It'll be just as brilliant as the day you printed it.
Right.
Yeah,
But
you're
it can-
actually dyeing the threads
You're
rather
dyeing.
than printing on top of a shirt. You're actually dyeing the fabric. We make flags like that. We make what else do we do with Die Sub?
Do anything that is polyester coated. So any kind of ceramics, plates, and
Christmas ornaments,
Christmas ornaments,
coffee mugs.
any kind of cloth, but it has to be white or light. So you can't do black, even if it's a polyester shirt, because it just fades
Because you
into.
can't dye black.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all transparent colors.
Got you.
But it will give you a million colors. It will give you graduated screens. It will give you depth that you've never seen. It's the best form of printing on the planet, basically. It has some limitations, but it is a one-off, and it basically almost costs nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, for a setup.
That is very
That's
cool.
wonderful for it to be affordable and such great quality.
Yeah, because we all remember those T-shirts we got when we were kids that after you wash them a few times, they're all cracked and it just starts to fade.
Yeah, that was about the third washing in.
That's right.
Half of it wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Today's episode of the Welcome to Livingston podcast is brought to you by our valued sponsor, Jim Paquette with Lake Michigan Credit Union. He is a trusted mortgage lender who has lived and worked in our community for many years. Jim Paquette is dedicated to helping our neighbors achieve their homeownership dreams and is proud to support the local businesses that make our area special. Now let's dive back into the stories of the incredible entrepreneurs we are featuring today.
You mentioned that the jackets were kind of your favorite thing, but are they the most popular of your items, or what?
I would think that the T-shirts and the screen printing and the die and the Die
embroidery.
Sub and the direct-to-film is the one that we push enough.
Do the most.
Do the most out of it, which is the most diverse. And then I would probably say that words and trophies.
Yeah, you're lumping the embroidery in with,
Lumping embroidery
with the T-shirts and stuff. So.
because all of it is, we can put an image on a shirt 5 different ways. And so that all gets lumped together. And then awards and trophies. Then after
Printing is pretty much, we have a church in Ann Arbor we've been doing for almost 40 years. We do it every week. We drive to Ann Arbor and drop it off. We used to have to
do
go
the
pick it
bulletin.
up before the internet, but now they send me the file, and it's their weekly program bulletins and so printing is pretty much, they used to do newsletters and educational programs and all kinds of stuff at the church. Now they just do that. They do a little bit of other printing, but printing is so changed and so different because of the internet and the emails.
Yeah.
People
But
don't
we
need
are-
envelopes anymore. They
but we're
don't need
doing a lot
letterhead.
of- we still doing
Business
business
cards are
cards.
still there, but not
Envelopes
as
and
much
business
as they
cards.
used to be
That's true.
because it's all in your phone. It's all bump
Right. Yeah, you're
contact.
bumping, right? Yeah.
Can't remember last time we did letterhead
Oh,
Wow.
we did letterhead not too long ago for the church.
for the church.
Not a lot, but
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do the MailChimp nowadays and it's so much of it's digital.
right.
Right. And I saw that you guys do printing to metal too, right?
That's Die Sub.
That's Die Sub?
Yep.
Okay.
Also light colored aluminum and then polyester spray on it. And that attracts the gas and keeps it clean.
Yeah, and we can do up to sublimation. We can do up to a 3x5 flag.
3x5.
Wow.
Is the biggest
Wow.
size that we could do. And on the flags, we buy the fabric by the bolt and we sew them. So
that's all American,
finish
too.
all the edges, put the
Nice.
flag header on, and yeah. So I do a lot of sewing.
Well, you know what I'm hearing, which is great, is like you guys are a one-stop shop because when you're thinking of small businesses, you're going someplace for your business cards and you're like, oh, I need a banner. I'm going to go here. It's like, oh, I'd like some logoed apparel. I'm going to go here. Next thing you know, you're shopping with 5 different places that you don't know the quality that they're going to do. They can just come to you and get it all done.
Pretty much. That's how we started was that, they came to us for business cards. We said, hey, you need T-shirts. And then they came to us for T-shirts and we said, hey, you need business cards. So we played that from the very beginning.
That's
with
how we
the
started
small
buying
businesses.
machinery.
Yeah.
We figured this is the next step. Let's not do it all. Here's the next step, and let's get that established, and then here's the next step. The reason we got into doing varsity jackets was there's a place in Brighton called Miller Sports, and they had a big article in the newspaper about them doing the varsity jackets in Livingston County. And we read it and we were like, yeah, something that sounds like we could just do them for Heartland. And that's how kind of had the spur.
Plus they came to us and said,
Yeah.
well, why aren't you doing the jackets? We said, that's a different kind of embroidery. So, but it was all good, yeah. Yeah, and we wanted to buy the brand jackets that Chuck Miller had at Miller Sports, and they wouldn't sell them to us at the same price because at those days there were territories. And that was his territory, so they could not.
Yeah,
they would
all
sell them to
Livingston
me, but
County.
I'd had to pay about 25% more than he did. So we told that company, no. So we went to another company, and we were like, this is like our fourth shirt or jacket company. The last one we had, they were made in Michigan, and we loved those people, but
Yeah.
he got sick, and they had to close down their business. So that's when we went to the one in New York. But I know the other jacket place I believe uses the Holloway jacket, which comes out of Dominican Republic. So
Gotcha.
that's probably why it's taken
That
so
makes
long
sense.
to get it in.
Yeah, but it's nice that the things are standardized. So for the kids out there, they never know the difference where their jacket came
Yeah,
from.
well, you can tell
Oh,
a little bit. We can tell.
Yeah.
We can tell.
You have an eye to
yeah,
it.
Yeah, and a lot of the people from Heartland, the place in Brighton does a little bit different color navy, and the sleeves are a little different, so the kids don't like those as well. So, it depends on what their friends have, and, it's a very
The group has.
status
Yeah.
kind of thing
Yes.
with those jackets,
Yeah.
especially with the girls.
Yeah.
Girls are a little more picky than the boys are.
I
That
can
makes
see
sense.
that. Yeah.
When we first started, we didn't have trouble, but we wanted to catch the font. We wanted to make the font as close as it, and we got real close, but people were like, oh, that's not the same. After a while, our font ended
Well,
up
4
being-
years, all those kids had graduated, and our font was the new font. So.
So
Right.
ours is the font people are chasing.
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes it nice. But it was great because unfortunately she had practice when it came in, but we ran and picked it up so she'd have it. But she was just so excited about her jacket and whatnot. And even as she had it on, it's like, oh, it's so warm, it's so great. She's like, Mom, this feels like the quality is really great. Like, yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear and see.
Yeah.
Just doing
Yeah, some of them wear them all the time. Some of them don't wear them that much. It's just you never know till they get their jacket.
Right,
What
and
they're
when
gonna
we
be
get
like.
them, when we add to jackets all the way through graduation and even after graduation, and we'll get some back that look like they're pristine and they haven't been worn much, and some of them come back like they've been under the car tire for a month, and it's like,
World War
oh, I don't even want to hang this on my rack next to these other coats. So,
Right.
yeah.
cow. And I think that's one of the things we forget about because as all the embroidering gets in, there's if it needs to be changed, it can be, right?
Yep, we add to them. They'll go to states, they'll get new patches, they'll add sports, they'll get another letter. So some jackets, in the beginning, they were only putting one letter on each jacket. Now we've put up to like 5 or 6 letters on a jacket. Wow. And that is tough to do, especially if it's a smaller jacket. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of them now where, instead of one letter on the front, they'll have like 2 or 3 and they'll be
stacked.
stacked and just
Yeah.
rotated a little bit so you can see them. So it's interesting what the kids are doing with them.
It is.
Well,
It's-
sometimes they'll come from another school and they'll take that letter,
Right.
and they'll use that letter on top.
Wow, that's
we've done that.
interesting.
And I just did one where they had moved in after 10th grade, and we sewed the other letter on the inside of his jacket, so he had that letter on the inside.
Memory.
Another one we
had
had,
friends, right?
his grandfather had paid for his jacket, so he had his grandfather's name embroidered on the inside.
Yeah.
So anything like that is we can do all kinds of that makes our job fun and interesting.
Kind of brings in a qualified customer that's spending money on their family. It's a positive spend on their family. They're showing their kid, love.
Becomes a memento with it in a way because it's the memory
Well, when
as well as
their kid
yeah.
is having trouble, they're going to be able to go to their closet after 25 years and say, look what I did. This is what I did,
Yes,
right?
because they don't just give them to anybody. You can't just walk in.
Right,
And maybe
right.
for those
We don't
that
make letters,
that
yep.
don't know, yes,
Yeah.
you have to have earned the letter from your school.
And we've had a couple of people wanting the jackets without the letter, and we have not done that.
Oh, well, no, we'll do the jacket without the letter, but because they'll say they're getting the letter, but sometimes they don't come back, so I don't think that the children actually got the letter. But
Yeah,
We
no,
question
we don't make letters, so.
yeah,
That's good.
it's a special thing.
Yeah.
This is great. Is there any other unusual things you guys have seen in your times of?
We've seen a lot of great customers. It has turned into friends.
Yeah.
And it's the most positive thing about being in business is when you come up against people that are like-minded, and you can produce a product for them. They're happy, and I think that's one of the best
We have
things
made
that-
a lot of friends.
Yeah.
A lot of friends.
There's always the ugly people in the world,
Yeah.
but we let those people go. And
Right.
We feel like there's a lot of great people in Livingston County,
There
though.
are.
There is.
And,
There are.
and they support small business, and it, it makes me proud to be a Livingston County resident in
It's a
business.
very small village, and once you get to know the people, there's a lot of people doing the same people doing a lot of different things.
Right.
Right.
So,
Well, it's interesting because of the type of business you're in. I mean, with doing the trophies and doing the things for the Cub Scouts, and you're doing for, the different teams and the picnic players and through to the varsity jackets. I mean, you're able to have customers that you're like seeing progress through to the point of like you've been in business so long that they got their letter with you, and now they have kids that they're getting their
well,
letter with you.
we found their name in the computer we've already done. So that's an easy one.
Last week, I did have a young man came in with his high school. He was a senior, and his dad. And his dad looked at me and he goes, "I went to school with your kids." I said, "You did?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, and he told me his name, and I remembered him. And I said, "And you're in here buying a varsity jacket for your senior?" And I said, "My son, who you went to school with, just had his first baby, and he's 14 months old." I said, "Isn't that weird?" But we've had a lot of second generations come in that we've done their parents' jackets, and they still live in the community, and they come in and we do it. So
Aw, that's
It's
so special.
very interesting, very cool. Yeah.
It's been a blessing
Yep.
having this business for 39 years.
That's
In
beautiful.
39 years, that's a long time.
we
So,
work-
hats
work
off to
together.
you guys.
Well, and working together, yeah.
Right?
In the beginning, I still had my job at the library for a while. I worked part-time for like the first 4 or 5 years, but then gave it up. But yeah, it's a long time, and it's we're very blessed. We are very blessed to live in the community we live in, and to be able. And our house is like 1 mile from our store,
Oh,
so
fantastic.
our commute is great. And thing of it is though is that we're getting a little old and we're getting a little tired. So we wanna try to kind of figure out a retirement plan.
Yeah.
So just something I did want to mention, if there's anybody out there that sounds like they would love to be involved
Talk
with
to
a
us.
We do
wonderful
have-
business, just give us a call.
We do have a lot of small business owners
Yep.
that listen to the podcast, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good
it's
to know.
amazing how often that happens, though, because you'll see it every once in a while through like the Howell happenings or other things of people that are selling a business, legacy to give to, to sell off to another person that they're going to keep it going type thing.
Right. We would love that. Just because it's a very viable business. We've made our living with it for this many years and haven't had, as my son put it, real jobs. So
There you go. Yeah, we've got
it's a lot of hours, a lot of work. but
well-oiled machine. You
Yes,
know, you've
yes.
really worked out a lot of the kinks. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, you have all the machinery and everything, so it's
It would be nice to find some group or family or something to take over that for long term, because this business is not going to go away. Varsity jackets are not going to go away.
Yeah.
Printing is not going to go away. All these this will change, and since we've been in business, it has changed tremendously, and we've kept up with it.
Yeah.
And
All right.
so,
Well, in not only are you guys established, you have a fantastic reputation.
thank
And
you.
coming from being a
appreciate
small
that.
business owner, that's everything.
It is,
Yep.
and
So
you cannot pay for that at all.
No.
Yeah.
It's that hard work and the passion, and it just comes through.
Passion's a good
Being-
word for it.
Yeah.
It's like we have a lifestyle business. This is our
Yes.
life. It's not a job that we go to and we come home from. It's our life. So.
And we love it every day we do it.
Right. See?
there you go.
Sometimes it's rough, sometimes it's
And that was something that I did want to mention, because I didn't even realize till I was talking to Carol that if the hours don't work out well for you, you can always reach out
Yep.
and catch up with you guys, and someone can come in off.
Right,
off
we make
hours.
appointments on evenings,
absolutely.
weekends, or early in the morning before we open. And a lot of times I'm there anyways, but I don't answer the phone if we're not open. But yes, we definitely, especially
Prearranged.
for the varsity jackets, but we'll do it for any type of an order. But those kids, we understand how busy the kids are.
That's exactly
They go
it.
from school to practice to, another thing or whatever. And for parents to get them in during our short little time period is tough. So we've always done the
And it doesn't matter if it's
appointments.
Saturday or Sunday. It
Yeah.
does not matter.
Yeah.
Just give us a heads up, and we can be there for you.
Right.
Yep.
And
That's wonderful.
it amazes me just how hard, regardless of the sport or activity these kids are in, how hard they're working sometimes. Because I was talking to another dad over the weekend, and we were talking about how, they go to school to practice, they come home, and like they crash. Like they fall asleep, and like an hour and a half later, you're like, okay, you got to get up and do homework now, but it's nice to be able to have that, to be able to come in at those other times, because the kids, they want to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're excited.
Well,
They're excited.
The parents are juggling a dozen balls.
Right. And
Right.
if they have
Trying to
more
do-
than one child, they're off running them to other things too.
That's exactly
Especially
it.
when they're not driving yet.
Yes. Amen to that.
Yeah.
For sure. But I didn't realize that was available till you mentioned
Yes.
it. So that's one of the things I wanted to get the word out.
Yep.
For
yep.
sure.
Give us a
Wonderful.
call during our regular hours or send us an email, and we will definitely hook you up with whatever works for you and your students.
Wonderful.
Great. Thank you so much. And how can people find out more about you in terms of your website? Or
Our website is spiritoflivingston.com. And our email is spiritstore@sbcglobal.net. Now, we do not do any social media, so we're not on Facebook. We're not on Instagram or any of those things. Come see us. We're on the corner of M59 and Grand River, across from the American Legion, over by Tomato Brothers in Howell.
Great.
So-
And it's a wonderful showroom. So it's definitely worth
thank you.
coming in and seeing. And
Yeah, you're right between the 7-Eleven and the airport, so very
Exactly.
easy to find.
Very
close
easy
to
to
the
find.
outlet mall, right?
Very
Right,
close to the
yeah,
outlet
very
mall.
close to the outlet mall and Tomato Brothers. Everybody loves Tomato Brothers.
They
so-
do.
Oh, yeah, this is true. Well, great. Well, thank you guys for joining us today.
Well,
It was
Thanks for
been-
having us, and
This
thanks
has
for
been
getting your
great.
jacket with us.
Yes,
Your
of
jackets.
course.
This has
Our-
been very,
Jackets.
very comfortable.
Well, thank you so
Good,
much. Yep.
good. I'm so glad.
Well, we loved having you guys, and everyone make sure to check them out. If you need any kind of printing, if you're involved in any of your kids' sports and they need the trophies, and obviously for those varsity jackets as well.
Yeah, anything you need, definitely go in and check them out.
Yeah.
They're a great resource here. So thanks again for joining us today, and
Welcome
welcome
to
to
Livingston.
Livingston.